Welcome back to Full Syndication. This is Ed. Today we're going to be talking about Mullen once more. Now, I did talk about Mullen before. The ticker goes as MULN, and we did talk about a bunch of different things relating towards their anticipated delivery dates, towards their vehicles. And today we're going to go a little bit into the news relating off recent publications and also short selling news that has been plaguing this one for the last week or so. So the latest news is really going after their company itself, expecting to report in excess of $65 million in cash and cash equivalents when it files its 10Q for the second quarter ending March 31st, 2022. Now, I do remember talking briefly about this one here, but this is still something that is very important because it would be one of the first earnings or first quarter report that would really pave the way for this stock's valuation. So it says here, Mullen, which is an emerging electrical vehicle manufacturer, announcing today that it expects to report an excess of $65 million in cash and cash equivalents. And it says, we've made tremendous progress in key areas over the past 3 months, said the CEO. With the financing we received, we now have more than enough capital to execute our commitment for 2022, including the start of Mullen 5 EV crossover program and continued developments in the Mullen 1 EV cargo van program. The company's balance sheet is expected to be the strongest in their own history. Now, on November 5th, 2021, they started trading under NASDAQ under the ticker MULN. And since then, the first quarter as a public company starting quarter 4 2021 would be this one. And the company has debuted 2 versions of the Mullen 5 show cars and announced the purchase of a vehicle manufacturing facility in Tenneca, Mississippi. Again, this is Tenneca Resorts instead of just Tenneca. So it's Tenneca greater area. As quarter 2 2022 draws close, Mullen is expecting to report $65 million in cash and cash equivalents for the continued momentum and program developments. Now, they've also recently announced a string key partnership with Hofer Powertrain, Camo, ARC, DAR, and DSA Systems for EV powertrain and engineering manufacturing vehicles production systems and over-the-air and vehicle system diagnostics, respectively. The company expects these strategic developments to play a crucial role in bringing EVs to markets with the latest technology in the least amount of time. Now, they also had different news before. For instance, here, Mullen promotes John Taylor, former Tesla executive, to global manufacturing and strategic planning head as EV business expands more. So there is definitely some bullish news. Things like this in terms of internally promoting or bringing in people from other companies like Tesla to try to basically prove a concept that they have to be similar to something else and try to pave the way. So this one here, Taylor brings a great depth of experience, including oversight of several planned startups and over 12 launches in the US and internationally. Now, in 1987, Taylor graduated from Phillips School of Automotive Design in Detroit and began his automotive career with General Motors. At GM, he was involved with 11 major automotive vehicle launches while serving as launch manager, operation manager, and machine and equipment manager, among other roles. In 2010, he joined Tesla and was one of the first 50 employees. Leading the Advanced Manufacturing Engineering Group, Taylor played a critical role in opening Tesla's Fremont facility with manufacturing operations for Tesla for the Model S and the architecture for future EV projects. So this is still someone who's very important and very seasoned in terms of experience, and they're putting them in a crucial role, so hopefully that plays out well. Now, Mullen itself has been plagued by a lot of short selling reports itself, including I believe one for Hindenburg. And basically for the Hindenburg itself, you're able to see that there's a lot that people have already gone through in terms of where this company actually exists. And so here it says it did not exist at all, the joint venture, not a single piece of paper. And he proudly goes and shows a tweet about the time this was. And basically you're able to see previously that there has been witnesses and dates of something back in 2020 for 25th of January. And there's other ones, including their cargo van, I believe, that I've seen as well, because I've did skim through the report. So part of it of the cargo van was relating towards that it looked like a white label kind of stuff where another company is making them and they're selling them in North America, and that information was actually mentioned before in the SEC filings, so it's not really something that goes against what they were actually preaching before on. Now, institutional buyers, we do have a bit of updates on institutional buyers, so we'll start off on the top. So here on the 1st of April, we have a few that we did talk about: JDR Consulting and TDR Capitals. These guys have around 15 million shares combined. And you have a different amount of companies that are actually adding different amount of shares, whether it's puts, calls, or just shares. So you have here Coulter's Group around 34,000 in shares, but they have around 839,000 in calls and 143 in puts. And you get to see other companies as well, but overall you're able to see it's more bullish than bearish for sure. Insiders, we don't have anything significant here, so we're gonna move on. If you'd like to see more contents like this, make sure to click the subscribe button and leave notification buttons on for this channel, and don't forget to drop the like button. Now, if you want to turn on notifications for this channel, you can do so by the subscribe button, and you can join our Discord in the description below. And let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis perspective, what we do get to see here for Mullen is there's a couple of interesting things that are still going on. You have the 10 SMA is being above the 30 EMA, which is very bullish. The stock price is currently still above the 50 SMA, which sits at 1.89. Now, the stock price at 1.89, or at moving averages of 50 SMA, you're able to see that that is acting like a very strong support. The stock price currently sits at 216, so there is a gap between that and the support. The average directional index is currently not showing much improvement, whether it's a bullish or a bearish trend, but it still shows that it's still a bullish overall trend when you're looking back into the long term, where it was around 50 cents. And if you were to consider the longer term implications, yes, it is, but currently we dropped from around 418 to around 216, so around 50% from the top in the last month or so. The William %R, which is very similar to the relative strength index, is sitting at 95, which is basically very oversold, similar to what you would see with the relative strength index. Now, for the MACD, you're able to see that you're going on towards the negative side. What you're seeing here is that the stock is gaining negative momentum, and there's more strength to selling than buying, and that's a dangerous thing. Momentum is currently negative, around negative 0.19. Now, in terms of the stochastic fast and stochastic slow, you're able to see that there is currently an indication that the stock might drop lower to another support or test the next support, and that could be a good time to buy then, but currently you're seeing all these stochastics levels dipping downwards. Now, in terms of moving averages, you're seeing that there is currently resistance at 299 and a support at 245. Now, that's for the moving averages. For the Bollinger Bands, you're seeing 336 and 208 as critical levels. Now, in terms of charting, you're able to see a significant resistance at the 415 level, then 640, 821, 1003, 1262, and 1591, with the support being at 52 cents. Now, in terms of supports, you're able to see there is currently a very strong one at the 216 level, and then the 183, and then the 147, and then the 97, and then going downwards to around 78. In terms of resistances, you're seeing one at 232, going higher to 268, and then 308, and then 351, 384, and then goes to 460, 496, and then goes higher to around 586, 605, and you kind of get the point around 712. Now comes to the question to Ed, what do you think is going to happen here? Now, if you were to go ahead and just start drawing more Fibonacci retracements and whatnot, we're going to be able to get to see that there's basically a discontinue, or basically a gap of where the stock price was before and where it is right now. Now, currently, you could say that there is a trend line going upwards. This could be it, for instance, or at least the bottom side of it. And it's really testing it. This is based on 3 points, 52 cents, and then 4th of March, 7th of March, and then 11th of March. So 4 points, or I would say more closer to 4 points in general. And currently, the 5th point is around 216, which is the last day. And if it does drop below, I would say around the $2, you're very much in trouble because that trend is officially over. Now, previously, we did have previous trends that were a bit more bullish, but this was the one we were looking at that if anything happens in terms of it stopping that momentum and decreasing in terms of levels of where it was trading, this is the trend line that if it does break, then we might not be able to get a strong bullish movement anymore, and it would struggle back into resistances. Now, In terms of myself, I still think that Mullen is still a good investment in the long term. We've seen other competitors where they've jumped and fallen, but we know Mullen's history itself. And trading from where it was around $10 to now to basically being a penny stock, it becomes almost non-brainer. But nonetheless, don't put in massive amounts where there's still a risk here, as it's a penny stock, and there's a lot of people that don't want it to succeed. And sometimes that actually happens when you have a lot of people against you in the market. So it's definitely a tug of war, and make sure to not put money that you're not fine losing into here, because that can be very dangerous. But I'm still very bullish about Mullen. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day.